Hello to all my brilliant WAEC, NECO, and JAMB candidates. Welcome. Have you ever stopped to think about the chemistry behind the soap you use, or even the paracetamol you take for a headache? Well, that's exactly what we're diving into today. Applied chemistry. Let's get right into it. So, why do you need to pay extra close attention to this particular topic? Simple. Because applied chemistry is a guaranteed high scorer. You know, examiners absolutely love this topic because it connects everything you learn in the classroom to real-world products. We're talking about things you see and use every single day. It's practical, it's relevant, and trust me, it shows up in your exams every single year. And to make sure you're 100% prepared, we are covering everything straight from the official syllabus. We're going to look at drugs and medicine, soaps and detergents, dyes, food preservatives, fertilizers, petroleum, and even cosmetics. Yep, we're covering the whole thing. We'll break this down into 4 simple parts. First, essential products. Then, industrial applications. After that, we'll do some real exam practice with past questions, and we'll wrap it all up with a key summary and some hot tips. Are you ready? Okay, let's begin. All right, let's jump straight into part 1, essential products. We're starting with things we are all very familiar with. We're talking about drugs, soaps, and dyes. Now pay very close attention to this table. WAEC and NECO love to ask for these definitions. You have analgesics for pain, like paracetamol, antibiotics to fight bacteria, like penicillin, antiseptics, like the Dettol in your first aid box to prevent infection, and antacids to neutralize that extra stomach acid. Please make sure you know at least one example for each type. Now, here is a golden nugget for you, especially for my JAMB candidates out there. JAMB loves this type of question. They will ask for the chemical name of aspirin. You must memorize this name, acetyl salicylic acid. Let's say it together, acetyl salicylic acid. Get it locked in your memory. Don't let them catch you sleeping on this one. Next up, soaps and detergents. So how do they actually work their magic and get your clothes clean? The key word here is emulsification. Think of this soap molecule as having a double personality. It has a head that loves water, we call that hydrophilic, and a tail that hates water but loves oil and grease, that's hydrophobic. The tail grabs onto the oily dirt and the head lets the water wash the whole thing away. That entire process is called emulsification. It's a key concept you have to remember. And here we have the big showdown, soaps versus detergents. This comparison is a classic exam question, I promise you. Soaps are made from natural fats through a process called saponification. But here's their biggest weakness. They form that horrible, nasty scum with hard water. Detergents, on the other hand, are synthetic, made from petroleum. And this is the main advantage. They work perfectly in hard water, no scum whatsoever. NECO especially loves to ask for the advantages of detergents over soaps. Finally, in this section, let's quickly touch on dyes. They basically fall into 2 groups. You have natural dyes, which come from plants, like the deep blue indigo color used for your jeans. And then you have synthetic dyes, which are made in a lab, like azo dyes. For your exams, just know one example from each category, and remember their main job is to color stuff. Simple enough, right? Excellent work. Let's move on to our second part now. We're going to look at some major industrial applications, specifically how chemistry is used in food, in farming, and for fuel. Okay, let's talk about what goes into our food. Food additives are chemicals added to improve taste, appearance, or make the food last longer. Preservatives, like benzoic acid in your favorite soft drink, stop it from spoiling. Artificial sweeteners, like saccharin, give you that sweet taste without all the sugar. And antioxidants, like sulfur dioxide, are what stop your fruit juice from turning that unappealing brown color. These are all practical examples you see every day. Now let's move from our plate to the farm. For crops to grow big and healthy, we use fertilizers. And the most important ones are NPK fertilizers. Here is a super easy way to remember what they do. Think of it like this. Nitrogen, that's N, helps a plant shoot up with lots of green leaves. Phosphorus, P, helps it put down strong roots. And potassium, K, keeps it healthy all around. So that's up, down, and all around. NPK. Now, get ready because calculation questions on fertilizers are very common. Let's work through this one together. To find the percentage of nitrogen in urea, first you calculate the molar mass of the entire compound. Add it all up and you get 60. Good. Next, find the mass of just the nitrogen atoms. See, there are 2 of them. So that's 2 times 14, which gives you 28. Finally, just divide the mass of nitrogen by the total molar mass and multiply by 100. And there you have it, 46.7%. You can do this. Just follow the steps carefully. All right, let's talk fuel. A lot of our economy runs on petroleum, also known as crude oil. But crude oil itself is a messy mixture. So how do we separate it into useful things like petrol? We use a process called fractional distillation. This method separates the oil into different parts or fractions based on their different boiling points. Remember those 2 terms, fractions and fractional distillation. And this is what the separation looks like in the distillation tower. At the very top, where it's coolest and with the lowest boiling point, you get LPG or cooking gas. As you move down the tower, it gets hotter and the boiling points increase. So you get petrol, then kerosene for our lamps, then diesel, lubricating oil, and right at the very bottom, with the highest boiling point, you have bitumen, which is used for paving roads. You must memorize this order from top to bottom. Fantastic progress, everyone. You now have the core knowledge. So let's put it to the test in part 3 with some real past questions from WAEC, JAMB, and NECO. I want you to pay very close attention to how we break down and solve these questions. Okay, here's our first one, straight from WAEC 2022. We have an NPK fertilizer with a 15-15-15 ratio. Now, what does that mean? It means it's 15% nitrogen, 15% phosphorus, and 15% potassium. The question says 200 kilograms of this fertilizer is used. It then asks, what is the mass of just the nitrogen? The solution is actually quite straightforward. Don't get distracted by all the other numbers. We only care about nitrogen, which is 15%. So we just need to find 15% of the total mass, which is 200 kilograms. So that's 15 over 100 multiplied by 200. And that gives us exactly 30 kilograms of nitrogen. See? Not so hard when you know exactly what to look for. Okay, now for a JAMB question from 2021. This one is a pure concept question. It says the cleansing action of soap is due to its ability to... What was that magic word we talked about earlier? Think about it for a second. And the correct answer is, of course, A, to emulsify oil. Remember that whole process of the soap molecules surrounding the oily dirt and allowing it to be washed away by water? That is emulsification. This is a classic definition question, and JAMB really loves to test these. Let's tackle a NECO question now from 2023. This one is a little different. It's a kind of reverse calculation. The fertilizer bag is labeled 20-10-10. This time, they give us the mass of the nutrient. They want 50 kilograms of phosphorus, and they're asking for the total mass of the fertilizer needed to get that amount. So how do we solve this? Let's break it down step by step. From the label, we know phosphorus is 10%. We're looking for the total mass, so let's call that X. This means that 10% of X must be equal to 50 kilograms. So our equation is 0.1 times X equals 50. To find X, you simply divide 50 by 0.1, which gives us a total mass of 500 kilograms.
By just setting up a simple equation, you can solve these reverse problems nice and easy. Wow, we have covered so much ground. We're on the home stretch now. Let's get into our final part, a quick summary of the most important points and some of my top tips to help you absolutely smash this topic in your exams. Let's recap the absolute must-know points. For soaps versus detergents, the key takeaway is that detergents work in hard water while soaps form scum. Do not forget the chemical name for aspirin, acetyl salicylic acid. For fertilizers, NPK are the 3 primary nutrients. And finally, remember that petrochemicals come from petroleum, but watch out for trick questions involving things like ethanol, which does not. Okay, here are my personal tips for you. First, whenever you see a fertilizer calculation, always read the question twice. Are you solving for the mass of the nutrient or the total mass of the fertilizer? Second, know at least one clear example for each type of drug and dye. Third, be ready to list the advantages of detergents over soaps. It's a very popular theory question. And finally, you have to memorize the order of the fractional distillation tower. It's easy marks waiting for you. And I want to leave you with this thought. You have worked hard, you have listened, and you have practiced with us today. You have everything it takes to master applied chemistry and absolutely smash your exams. So stay confident and believe in yourself. You can and you will succeed. If you found this lesson helpful, please do me a small favor and like this video, share it with your classmates and friends who are also preparing for WAEC, NECO, and JAMB. And please subscribe to our YouTube channel right now so you don't miss out on the next topic. Also, don't forget to visit ExamKP.com for thousands of free practice questions and answers. Let's smash these exams.